A very good day to all of you, and welcome back to this episode of Crosspoint, presented by the National Christian Council of Sri Lanka. Today, we are going to have a discussion on this all important topic of social media. In order to do that, we have with us today Professor Madhubhashini Hewage, Professor in Communication at the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences of the Open University of Sri Lanka. A warm welcome to you, Professor.
Thank you.
So, my first question to you is, in an age of digital domination, what are some of the negative effects that social media can have on young people and society at large?
Thank you, Dilini. It's very important for us to have these kind of discussions nowadays because social media is very popular among the young people in this modern society, right? So, as we know, of course, we live in an information society. Information is one of the main needs of humans, right? And it's in this world, I believe that it's quite difficult for us to live without information, right? So media, including new media, play a vital role in this information society. Due to the development of new technologies, new media were emerged to this modern world. Openness, peering, sharing, and acting globally are some of the characteristics of new media. Interactivity, collaborative learning, and participation can be maintained through some of the social media platforms. You may remember during COVID-19 pandemic, we all had to, log into social media platforms and some other online platforms to, to fulfill some of our needs in our day-to-day life. Now, for instance, of course, teenagers, especially school students, they had to at least have a mobile phone to log into online platforms for their online education, for e-learning. Not only for education, but also they use new media, including social media, for some other purposes as well, like phonography, online games, right? Some teenagers, who got addicted to online games, right? They had to, take some counseling to overcome, from that particular situation. And some, of course, unfortunately, they got, they committed suicide, right? Due to the behavioral changes, right? Since they addicted to online games, right? And when it's come to pornography, of course, some teenagers, even school students, they try to, experience these sexual activities in their real life. And according to some research reports, they, some got even social diseases, right? And also some, the young women and, girls, of course, they, also, got, new media, some, the technological devices like, mobile phones, laptops, right? And they connect, they log into social media platform as well and got to know some unknown men, right? Maybe married men, through these social media platforms. And finally, of course, as media also reported, their, nude pictures on photo, the, videos, are shared on online platforms. And finally, some, of course, committed suicide. And some of the girls, some women, of course, they have to go through some problems in their life. You might have watched Dharma Yuddha, that movie, of course, a family, including a young girl, of course. They had to, face some problems since, some nude pictures and, videos were shared on, were captured on, from a mobile phone used by a young guy, right? So social, it means like cyberbullying, cyber harassments, and some cyber cheating are also some of the problems connected to social media. And there are some negative effects of social media on family relationships as well, right? Children, of course, and parents, they are quite busy with their, the digital, their technological devices, right? The children are isolated, at home, and they don't have proper interaction between family members. The likewise, of course, we can identify some negative effects of new media, including social media, on society, including youngsters.
Thank you for sharing your perspective, Professor, because I think it's important to have some of these things flagged because most of us are on social media and we kind of tend to get hooked up on it and not really realize the negative impact that it can have. So, but every situation has two sides to it. And even in social media, how can we use it to create a positive impact on society?
As we live in an information society, as I said earlier, whether we like or not, we have to use new media, right? Such as mobile phones, social media platforms, some, new technological devices, right? Because it's quite difficult for us to control new media as well, the new technology especially, right? Because in this information society, in order to fulfill your needs, maybe social, economic, maybe cultural, educational, or professional needs, you have to use new media, right? Now you may remember during COVID-19 pandemic, whether we like or not, we had to use online platforms, even to order some goods and services, right, for online payments, right? So we have to somehow live with this, the new technological devices. It does not mean that, of course, you have to just to use them in a badly, but you have to use them positively in your life. Now, if I tell you that you are also a citizen journalist, you may think that, am I a journalist, right? But I say that, of course, you are a citizen journalist. Since I am representing the discipline of media and communication studies, I can tell you that, of course, you are a journalist, because compared to mainstream media, you have the opportunity to create the content on social media platforms. But on mainstream media like TV, radio, and print media, you don't have opportunity to actively participate in creating the content. Not only creating the content, but also you have the opportunity to edit or share or comment on different social media content as a citizen journalist. That's why I'm telling you that, of course, you are also a journalist. You are a social media content creator. You are a social media influencer, right? You can influence people, right? So in that way, of course, you can be a social media, content creator and influencer as well, right? Now I can give you some examples. Now during COVID-19 pandemic, for your educational purposes, you received some of your lesson materials, maybe Zoom links for your days, your lectures, or maybe for your classes, from your teachers or university lecturers, right? So still maybe you are in these WhatsApp groups. That's much social media and new media are useful for your education purposes as well. Not only for education purposes, maybe for some other professional needs, you can use social media positively, right? As I got to know from one of my friends, one young guy, very recently, got to know an investor through some of the social media platforms, right? So finally, he was able to start a business chain in Sri Lanka. right? If you use social media, positively, of course, you will be able to, fulfill your needs in a positive manner, right? I can give you some of the other example as well, how to use social media positively to fulfill your needs in the day-to-day life. Now, you may quite good in writing poems, right? Just say, or else maybe you have your own perspective or views, or maybe you have your own ideology on different contemporary issues, right? You can express your knowledge, maybe views on different social media platforms, like by maintaining a Facebook page, or else you can maintain a YouTube channel, right? So in that manner also you can express your ideas, you can share your maybe pictures, videos, maybe information with other people, right? As you know, even like by maintaining a YouTube channel, based on the views, shares, comments you get, right, you can earn money as well, right? So you have financial benefits as well, by using social media positively, right? The other thing is that maybe you're quite interested in cooking, maybe maybe dressmaking or fashion design or whatever. You can simply have your Facebook page. In that way you can promote your own business, right? And also maybe you can have your own YouTube channel, and you can do some tutorials, maybe you can give some advices, right? Maybe you can give you can do counseling, right? You can be a social media personality, right? It's very important for you to use social media to even promote yourself, right? We can identify some very effective social media content creators. These people are quite popular among us as well. So likewise, of course, even you can use new media, including social media, in a positive manner to fulfill your needs and get a lot of opportunities in your life.
So I think that's very insightful, Professor, because sometimes we only tend to focus on like the negative side of social media, and it's important to also be able to discuss, okay, what are the advantages, what are the benefits, but also coming to our final question, what would you say are some of the guiding principles that we can you would like to actually leave with our audience in how to use social media responsibly? Because I think in the first question you did say, there's these negative effects like cyberbullying, access to pornography, and so many other things that kind of impact young people negatively. So we are social beings, but we're also living in a complex society. So living in a complex society, what would it look like to actually look out for one another in the use of social media?
It's like this. As I, explain, of course, there are positive and negative effects of new media, including social media, on society, right? So you all have to, understand that freedom of expression is highly, protected or safeguarded on social media. In other words, you can express your own ideas freely on these social media platforms, right? This is the best opportunity, you get, right, as a citizen, in this society, right? But of course, these freedoms should be used in a responsible manner, right? That is the most important thing. In the Sri Lankan context, as we know, mostly young people, they use social media, right? So, but we don't have any mechanism in educating these young people on how to use, new media, including social media, in a responsible manner, right? But some countries like, Australia, and some countries in Scandinavian countries, of course, they even teach media literacy subject communication skills, these kind of, the courses or the subjects from the, the kindergarten or the primary education to the tertiary education, the university education, right? And as I know, even in Australia, they teach the very small kids how to create a social media account, how to protect your username and password, right? How to use social media without disturbing other people, right? So do we have this kind of education in our country? No, we don't have. That's why I want to emphasize that the responsible authorities should introduce subjects like sex education, media literacy, communication skills, these kind of subjects in our school education at least. It does not mean that one day that particular person should be a journalist by learning communication skills or else media literacy. Maybe one day, of course, maybe this particular person, will be into some other profession. But still, it's very important to learn media literacy skills as well, right? Now, some countries like, Norway, already introduced, the government already introduced some guidelines, code of ethics, right, for social media users. But unfortunately, in our country, we don't have code of ethics even for electronic media or the social media or the new media. But of course, some code of ethics were introduced to print media journalists, right? But still, of course, these things should be done by the responsible authorities to educate our young people on how to use new media, including social media, right, in a responsible manner. Right? These are very, very important. Why I'm emphasizing this, even in this discussion, because as we know, media is very powerful nowadays, right? Sometimes the way I think, maybe sometimes the way I, where I go, right, where to go, or maybe like, what to eat, maybe what to wear, everything is decided by media. Because, I always try to, get whatever always try to follow whatever media gives to us, right? So that much media is powerful nowadays. So even small kids, right, from the beginning, they, start to use mobile phones. But if they don't have proper guidance to use social media or the new media like mobile phones, of course, one day, of course, they will use social media, but not in a responsible manner. Of course, it will be a real disaster if they don't have media literacy skills. So it's very, very important for the responsible authorities to, to take some actions to introduce media literacy subject at the, secondary education, right? And also to, the train, the people on how to, use social media in a responsible manner. In that way, of course, we can, create ethically sound, the social media users, who really can use social media positively to fulfill their needs in the day-to-day life.
Yeah, that was very helpful to hear, Professor. I think something that we can all take away from this episode is, yes, media is everywhere. Media is powerful. But at the end of the day, it's us who decide what to post, what to share, and what to put out there. And if we are going to make it a better platform for people. So thank you once again, Professor Hewage, for that insightful, inspirational discussion. Thank you for taking time off your busy schedule to be here with us and inspire us. So that's it from this edition of Crosspoint. Until next time, take care and God bless you.
Thank you.